I think he is furious. This is very important for him, and he will react.
So we've seen this drone attack on Moscow today. It comes on top of 2 weeks of the Ukrainian forces in Kursk. What do you think the calculations will be going on in the Kremlin to decide how or whether to respond further?
Well, if to speak about the attack against Moscow today, in my view, these drones play a more important role in Ukraine just to demonstrate that the enemy cannot feel safe, but it doesn't mean any serious threat for Moscow. It used to be more or less effective in case of oil refineries. It's rather effective in case of those regions adjacent to Ukraine, but in case of Moscow, it's not very visible because all of these drones are shot down uh, nearby, not in Moscow itself, but the situation, in my view, in Kursk region looks not very dangerous for the Kremlin right now, but the Kremlin, which does not want to cause any anxiety in the country and does not report a lot about what's going on in Kursk region, is rather limited in time. So this kind of behavior can last for another 2 weeks, but then the Kremlin should demonstrate certain successes either in Kursk region or in some other places, in Donbass, for example.
Is there a sense that this is bringing the war onto Russian soil? How do you think that plays out with the Russian public?
Well, first of all, it's not the first case of bringing the war into Russian soil, in my view, the effect can be not necessarily positive in a sense that Russians should get afraid and should understand that the war is bloody thing not only somewhere else but including their homes. But it can and is playing sometimes a kind of mobilizing role, like say this is our own war. It's no more the war going on at the distance. They came to our houses, and perhaps Putin was right when saying 2.5 years ago that the West and Ukraine in particular do plan attacking Russia.
We've seen Putin this week out of Moscow. He's been in Beslan, in Chechnya. He's barely mentioned Kursk. Can we read anything into this flurry of appearances in the Caucasus?
We can, and I think, first of all, it shows that it's important. Well, public opinion is important for the Kremlin. That's why he appeared in Beslan, where he didn't appear in the past. It's 20 years since this bloody attack, and Putin is not considered very positively in Beslan, and it was clear from the Kremlin's report from this meeting because they didn't show anything else except for the very brief introduction. But for Putin, for the Kremlin, it was important to demonstrate that what's going on in Kursk is similar somehow to what has happened there, like say terrorist came. It's not an element of large-scale war, but it's another terrorist attack against Russia. I do not think they did succeed in doing this, but anyway, they were trying to do their best in order to keep public opinion in Russia, to keep impression that there is just another terrorist attack which is going on in Kursk.
Putin has long played on this image as the guarantor of peace and stability, the strong leader. Has the things that have been going on recently changed this at all? Is his hold on power secure?
Well, it can change well his image in essential way if only his tactics will not bring any results. So far, it looks like he calculates to get very visible success in Donbass, and that's why not to use as well many soldiers as possible in Kursk region, but to increase pressure in Donbass. If these tactics will appear to be successful, then it's okay for Putin and for his image. If not, well, he should feel not very successful, and he should use some other possibilities to demonstrate that he's master in the house.
Putin hasn't been talking too much about Kursk, but Dmitry Medvedev has. He says there'll be no negotiations until the enemy is utterly destroyed. If this operation in Kursk is about getting prisoners and territory to swap, is peace a possibility? Are peace talks likely to come?
Well, it's hard to speak now about any real peace. We should focus more on ceasefire, and I think negotiations are inevitable, but they cannot start before the end of presidential elections in the United States, because Moscow, the Kremlin, does not uh, take Ukraine and Kyiv, Ukrainian leadership, as an independent player. So they are waiting for the new American president to come and to negotiate with. But it's absolutely inevitable. But the difference can be very essential whether Russia would be seen as successfully getting new and new territories, or if Ukraine will be able to keep its control over this not very big, but nevertheless very politically important part of Russia, and then Ukrainian positions will be much stronger.
Looking into a crystal ball, do you think this is just a delay to Putin's response to the Kursk events that we've seen in the past in other crises, perhaps Beslan or the Kursk submarine? Or does he perhaps not care so much about this particular operation?
I think he is furious. This is very important for him, and he will react. Hopefully, he will react in a kind of conventional way if it will be possible for Russian units to get any real success in Donbass. If not, I think he will raise stakes, and I would not exclude that even nuclear weapons can be used, tactical weapons.